make some money on like crypto. If yes, this talk is for you to make your agents like more secure. So as the like actual economy is growing for the agents, the one of the problem we are facing is the agent safe enough to like run by itself? The answer is no. So agent wallets are broken. If you are running your open flow agent, either you are like having a private key or you have a TE, and what is it creating is like it's creating a fragmented wallet. You have a MetaMask wallet or you have a Revy wallet, right? Now you have to transfer your funds from your Revy wallet, MetaMask wallet to like some TE wallet or the private key that agent is holding right now. And that means that you're giving like the TVL custody to the agent. So funds is yours, but the TVL is managed by the agent, which is not a good thing. The second thing it has the root access. Once you give private key to the agent, that means that they can do anything on your behalf. Whatever prompts you give, they have full access to like set the funds. And it does not even have the composability. So what I mean by composability is that as we are like creating new agents like in the Web3, there will be specialized agents where there will be an agent which can like do swap application for you or swap application and bridge for you and can also like give you the best yield. Right? Now if you want to like interact with the agent that gives you the best yield, the only way to do that is like by sending the funds from your agent to that agent, the third agent. Now the whole process is based on trust. That you are trusting the other agent that it will not like do any malicious transactions on your behalf and you will get your funds back. And it creates the same old risk that it's a private key. So any wrong injection and boom, your private key is gone and you have lost all your money. Now if we go to the next slide, we'll see like some of the like examples that agents have gone bankrupt. Now if you see the middle one, this is the most funniest example because someone on Twitter asked this open flow agent to like transfer some funds and it basically transferred $270K. Now imagine you're running an open flow agent and you have lost your like wealth in just one single prompt, right? So you might be thinking now, do we have any standards for this? We have a standard for like payments A2A, X402, we have standards for like identity, reputation, A204. But we do have standard for permission sharing because the problem that is happening is you're not able to share permissions from agent to agent. Or like, let's say like if I want to have transfer some funds, I need to like do a transaction. But what if I can say that agent can use certain permissions on my behalf and execute transactions on my behalf? So I'm not giving access to private to the agent, but I'm just sharing a permission on chain. So if we go to the next slide, we'll see the ERC for it, and it's called ERC-7710. So this ERC states that you can give permission to any smart contract, any smart account, or any POA to do transactions on your behalf. Now imagine like you are living in a world that you can give permission to an agent from MetaMask directly. Right? The agent does not have like embedded private key or like a TE. So like all the funds are logged into like MetaMask wallet and the agent can do transactions on your behalf. And that's what the future is, right? We want to head to that future. So let's just take an example. In the 7710 permission flow, your agent can give permission of like agent 2 that agent 2 can use $100 per day. Now imagine agent 2 is a polymarket agent that can find you the arbitrage and like can make you money. And now agent 1 can also say to the polymarket agent, you can use like $50 on my behalf and do the arbitrage trading. So I'm just giving permission, I'm not sharing like $50 to the agent or the polymarket agent. And the best thing is, it has option of multi-hopping. It's not just one-to-one permission, but it's like a multi-hopping permission system. So let's say you have agent 1 and there is a main agent that can help you find like different agents like which is 804, right? Now you will say that, hey, orchestrator agent, I'm giving you like 1K, now find me the best yield. Now the agent might find like there are 3 best agents for the yield right now. It might be Aave, it might be Tangle or some XYZ protocol. So the main agent will again like divide the permission and say like, hey Aave agent, you can use $500 and do the yield for agent 1 and same for the Tangle agent. So you see, like it's not just one-to-one sharing, but also like a multi-hop information system. Now you might be wondering, if you can go to the next slide, why can't we solve this with the PE and LN policies? The problem with PE and LN policies is that it only has the pre-validation. So you can have PE policies where you can say, if the transaction is coming from this URL or this domain, you can execute. You can have the allowance limit that the PE should only sign like transactions that have like value of like $10 or like some X amount of ETH. But what about the post transaction? That is not possible with PE and LLM policies because once the transaction has been settled on chain, you cannot revert it. And that's why we need like the standards on chain that can help you to do like post validation. Now, what I mean the post validation is, imagine you say to an agent that, hey agent, this is $10, you can like buy me some ETH. Now, how do you make sure the agent like does not set the slippage of 50%? Now, right, if you set the agent of slippage of 50%, you might lose money because you will be getting very less amount of ETH back. And there is no way for you to enforce that if I'm giving you $10, I will need 0.001 ETH, right? And that is only possible with like the ERC-7710 because it is a smart contract, so it has like the pre-hook and the post-hook for you to like validate the transactions. So if you see, this is the first row, which is also possible with DE, that hey, this is the $10 worth of USDC, buy me a main fund. But with the post-execution hooks, what you can do is, if you can go to the next, take $10 worth of USDC, but you can use this $10 only if I'm receiving like 1 million tokens back. Now that means that you are sharing an intent to the agent that hey agent, this is my intent. Now you can only use $10 if you are giving me 1 million tokens back. So this is not just one-to-one permission sharing, not a multi-hopping permission, but also like an intent-based permission, right? So if you go to the next slide. So this is basically a permission of intent where you're saying you can use X, Y, Z when I get Y. Now, but this only solves the problem of composability, that okay, you can share the permission to the third agent or some other agent without transferring funds and allow them to like do transactions. And also the problem of like your taking not being locked or root access. But what about like agents still having private key? What if it is able to give a permission that is to some third agent that gives the full access to wallet? So how do we solve that? Now, ideally, since like it's a ERC standard, you can sign the delegations or the permissions directly from the MetaMask. So if you go, but the problem with signing this is it's sign type data. So if you don't know sign type data, you can go and read like ERC-7712. But if you know, this is what the sign type data has, and it has like the enforcer and the terms. Now, even if you're a developer, can you tell me what the hex data is? No. So how do you make sure that you are able to like give the permissions that you want to give? And if you like decode this permission, this will be 0.001 way. And why this is not possible right now on the MetaMask wallet is one signature for the permission with no restrictions. That means you are given access to the whole wallet. Now the agent basically has like the same problem of that it has a private key. So this is a funny thing in the ETHMumbai system. You create an ERC to solve a problem, and then you create another ERC to solve the problem that was created by the previous ERC. So we have a new ERC which is called 7715. Now this ERC will allow you to like request like permissions from the wallet, and these permissions are basically human-rated permissions. Because earlier it was signed type data, you were not able to read. Now we are able to read. If you can see, okay, it's not clearly visible, but I can now set like the USDC I want to transfer or like with the permission to the agent, which is 5. And I can also decide the frequency, right? Like the frequency is monthly, weekly, daily, hourly, or an yearly. I can change the start time as well. I can set the expiry as well. So the permission should be like invalid after like an hour or like let's say like a day or by a year. And you can do all of this thing. And you can still like be in control by reading like what permissions for sharing. And you might have heard about this thing. MetaMask is not a good UX, right? There's a whole trend going on in CT. I bet this ERC has been not implemented by any of the wallets, and this ERC will put you in control. It puts users in control. because when you go on Uniswap, you are basically doing a transaction, it will show you request. Now if you want to modify that request, you have to cancel, go back again, change the code, and again sign the transaction. But in some permissions, you can do it while you are shown the model. So if you are on the model, you can change the amount, you can change the frequency, you can change whatever permissions you want to change. And that's how it puts you in control. Now how does this whole flow looks like with ERC-7715 and ERC-7710? So now instead of agent 1 having the root key access, you will be sharing permissions of 7715 to agent 1. That hey, agent 1, you can now use $100 from a MetaMask wallet. Now since we learned that 7710 you can do multi-hopping of permissions, agent 1 now can give permission to polymarket agent to bet $50 on my behalf from MetaMask wallet directly and find me best arbitrage and give me some money. Now this agent can again redelegate to agent 2 and also say that you can use $5 to pay for any API usage. Now the funny thing about this whole thing is the permissions only get narrowed. That means that if I give $100 permission, agent 1 can never exceed the $100 limit. It can only narrow down and add more restrictions. So it can also add restriction to polymarket agent that you can use $50 but only 10 times a day, so that you don't lose money, my hard-earned money on doing arbitrage trading, because sometimes it can go from 97 to 0 in no time. And that's how you can make your agent safe. If you have any questions, you can ask. And if you are doing Hackathon tomorrow, you will really have a leverage if you are using 7710, 7715, because there are no one, I don't think there will be people building on that. And it's very new ERC, so you might have leverage over that side. And you can scan this QR, it will be my Twitter profile. If you want to talk about it, I'm more than happy to talk about it. Yes, so you can basically revoke the permissions. So if you are given 7 permission, you can revoke directly from the MetaMask. But if you are given 7710 permissions, from your agent to third agent, you can either revoke it from the agent itself by sending the disabled delegation on chain, or you can revoke it directly from the MetaMask. If you revoke it directly from the MetaMask, all of the permission chain down the line will be basically gone. So it won't be valid anymore because the root tree has been deleted. Any more questions? Okay, thank you so much.